as you get older,
Yep.
you have to look at things in a different way.
Mm-hmm. I'm keeping my fucking hands up. I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out. Can I move my phone? Step out.
Might unlock all kind of strip clubs in Omaha. We don't know. This is musty. This is disgusting at the highest level.
Floyd Mayweather has taken another swipe at Terence Crawford following his recent traffic incident, and he didn't hold back. Commenting on Crawford's wild celebration after defeating Canelo Alvarez, Mayweather mocked the way the Omaha star carried himself. If a win over Canelo makes Crawford act like he runs boxing, then what would happen if he had beaten truly elite opponents like Manny? Mayweather remarked. He went on to argue that every fighter should know his limits. To Floyd, Crawford's victory, something Mayweather himself once handled with ease, left him far too overjoyed, proof in his eyes that Crawford simply isn't on the same level.
Check yourself. Another point. Floyd Mayweather, he don't carry no guns. Floyd don't carry guns.
But Mayweather's criticism didn't stop with boxing. He also brought up Crawford's recent offering troubles, pointing to his latest run-in with Omaha police. Floyd called the situation unfortunate and embarrassing, stressing that instead of making headlines for the wrong reasons, Crawford should be at home with his family, celebrating his victory and cementing his place in history.
We've had a lot of comparisons between Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather. We've even had the conversation to go as far as who would win in the fight between Terence and Floyd. And I truly don't know the answer to that question.
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah. Who will win that fight?
Floyd.
Floyd will win that
Yes,
fight.
sir. I love you, Terence.
Always figures it out.
Yeah, he's a chess master. Yeah, his IQ and that shit is crazy.
Shabazz, the headline Floyd mentioned, began surfacing early this morning in downtown Omaha. Just hours earlier, the city had thrown a massive parade to celebrate Crawford's victory over Canelo, with the champ himself as a centerpiece of the festivities. But by night's end, the mood had taken a sharp turn. According to the Omaha Police Department, just before 1:30 a.m., officers spotted a vehicle driving recklessly near North 12th Street and Capitol Avenue, eventually pulling it over on Cass Street. Inside were 4 occupants, including Crawford himself, along with his head of security, Kasem.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro.
Step out. Can I move my phone?
Bug Crawford being harassed by cops and pulled over by the cops right after the parade. This is diabolical.
Later that day, police released a statement outlining their side of the incident. They explained that while speaking with the driver, an officer spotted a loaded firearm on the floorboard of the driver's side. For safety, all 4 passengers were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. After checking IDs, the driver was confirmed to be Terence Crawford, who was cited for reckless driving. The statement also clarified the situation with the firearms, noting that one passenger, identified as a member of Crawford's security detail, was carrying a legally registered weapon. Authorities stressed that all 4 occupants were legally permitted to possess firearms.
Once they had stopped, Crawford was identified as the driver. According to police, officers observed a firearm on the floorboard on the driver's side. All 4 people, including members of Crawford's security team, were ordered out of the vehicle at gunpoint. I spoke with the head of Crawford's security this afternoon, who says he's still shaken up.
The same fans who had cheered him during the parade only hours earlier were now seeing their champion in handcuffs on Cass Street. For many in Omaha, the moment felt like a bitter twist. What should have been a weekend of pride was overshadowed by disappointment. Some voiced frustration at the situation itself, while others criticized Crawford directly, accusing him of reckless driving and poor judgment. Local outlet KV even quoted an officer at the scene, who said the firearm was noticed when Crawford reached down to retrieve his license and registration.
Bro, I got a crazy clip to show you guys right now. But isn't that a policeman holding a gun to the 3-time undisputed world champ Terence Bud Crawford's head? What did he do that was so bad that you had to pull him over?
The officer explained that as Crawford leaned forward, a firearm became visible near his feet. That sighting prompted the decision to order all occupants out of the vehicle at gunpoint. According to the same report, everyone inside was briefly placed in handcuffs until the situation was resolved. During the stop, Crawford could be heard insisting he wasn't reaching for the weapon, raising his hand to show compliance and making it clear he was cooperating.
That was a nightmare. You know, future husband, just had a brand new child and, you know, children and, you know, and stuff like that. And to know that I almost lost my life last night because we had a police officer that don't know how to articulate a traffic.
That account was later challenged by Crawford security chief Qasim Shabazz, who offered a very different version of events. Shabazz insisted Crawford never reach for any documents because he didn't have them with him. He had already told the officer his license and registration were at home. According to Shabazz, both he and Crawford made it clear from the beginning that they were carrying firearms as required under Nebraska law. But despite being upfront, the situation escalated. Shabazz recalled Crawford saying, "I have a firearm too," which led the officer on his side to panic, shouting commands like, "Get your hands up, get out of the car, don't reach." Shabazz emphasized there was never a gun in sight, yet the tension was overwhelming. "We all thought we were going to die. Man," he said.
I'm not reaching for no gun, bro. Step out. Can I move my...
You telling me the police at Omaha don't know who Terence Crawford is? Putting a gun in his face? Ridiculous.
Shabazz also pushed back against the reckless driving claim. He said Crawford directly asked the officer whether radar had been used, and the officer admitted it had not. "Well, how do you know I was speeding if you don't have radar?" Crawford pressed. According to Shabazz, he even recorded the exchange on video, capturing the officer saying on camera, "I admit I do not have radar."
In Omaha after receiving the keys to the city? Huh? Hey, yo, that cop gotta be some hater, bro. Hey, yo, that's like the NYPD holding Derek Jeter on gunpoint and arresting him after the Yankee championship parade in New York City, bro. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't even happen, bro. It wouldn't even happen. So this cop gotta be some hater, bro.
The conflicting accounts between the official report and Shabazz's testimony have only fueled the controversy. Crawford's team highlighted Shabazz's version as evidence the stop was mishandled, while others argue that reckless driving can still be identified without radar. Shabazz recalled the atmosphere inside the vehicle as tense and frightening, with all four passengers, including himself, placed in handcuffs. He said the escalation felt unnecessary, given that they had already disclosed their firearms and were cooperating. At Crawford's request, a police supervisor and lieutenant arrived on the scene, and their presence helped bring the situation under control until the citation was finalized.
I think we should just let the man enjoy his great moment. He's a great fighter. And I see a lot of immature stuff, and I don't like the way things is going with.
By that point, though, the video circulating online had already shaped the narrative. Fans debated whether police had overreacted or whether Crawford had put himself in a compromising position. Some viewed the incident as a stain on what should have been a proud day for Omaha, while others echoed Mayweather's criticism, arguing that a fighter of Crawford's stature shouldn't be caught in situations like this. The Omaha Police Department quickly responded to the spotlight. Chief Todd Schmadra ordered an internal affairs review to examine the officer's conduct, and Mayor Jean Studdert voiced her support, confirming that both she and the chief were aware of the widely shared footage. The investigation will center on whether proper procedures were followed when the firearm was seen, and when officers decided to order the passengers out at gunpoint.
But they come up with guns drawn.
Wow, he had his gun drawn. Here's what TMZ wrote. Terence Crawford ordered out of the car by a cop holding a gun on a video. It says Terence Crawford was forced out of a car at gunpoint by police officers with tense exchange caught on video, and it's leading to an internal investigation.
For now, the only official charge Crawford faces is reckless driving. Police confirmed multiple times that all firearms in the vehicle were legally owned and that no further charges will be filed. Still, the sharp contrast between the city's daytime celebration and the late-night traffic stop became the defining storyline of the weekend. Omaha residents who had filled the streets to honor their champion now woke up to headlines of him being pulled from his car at gunpoint. On social media, reactions ranged from shock to outrage, some calling it the wildest 24 hours ever for a hometown hero, others accusing police of targeting Crawford. while critics argued he should have avoided being on the road late at night altogether.
An investigation, but the damage is already done, my guy. The damage is already done. I'll be surprised if Terence Bud Crawford comes back to the city just disrespectful to the face of boxing. Not saying that the man's above the law, but Lord child, what was y'all doing? Gunpoint?
Mayweather only fueled the controversy further, framing the stop as a lesson in what separates their careers. For Floyd, legacy isn't just about victories in the ring. It's also about the choices a fighter makes under the brightest spotlight. In his eyes, Crawford tarnished his own celebration by allowing it to end in controversy.